the important paragraph number 3. Identification. Nectar in a Sieve, a post-colonial novel, and the author is an Indian author who was born in 1924 and died on 2004. Her name is Kamala Markandaya. Okay, the plot is placed and described in first person narration, which is an authorial passage. This is a flashback of Rukmani's about her wedding and after the wedding ceremony. Right, then let's dive into themes, literary devices, character development, and each and every detail that you need to know when answering a question that could come from this paragraph. A woman, they say, always remembers her wedding night. Okay, now who are they here? The other people. Immediately subverts a glitch by this line. Okay, let's move on and then let's discuss this whole together. Okay, well, maybe they do, but for me, there are other nights I prefer to remember. Sweeter, fuller when I went to my husband, matured in mind as well as in body, not as a pained and awkward child as I did on that first night. Okay. This establishes Rukmani as a practical, honest narrator who values mature, consensual love over ritualistic or traumatic first experiences. This is really important. Okay, so this is about hardships, pain, awkwardness, difficulty, the immaturity, unpleasantness that we can see in child marriages. This line criticizes the ancient, outdated socio-economic values of rural Indian society. Right? Now, wedding night. It's about memory. This associates with the theme of memory, marriage, remembrance as well. Contrast, right, with the other night. Maybe they do, but for me, see that tone? It's not a typical portrayal of a woman. That's why I said she is honest. Okay? Of course, the female victimization, suffering, gender discrimination, sexual relationship, culture, child marriage, hardships in life, all are brought out here in this single line. And see the consequences of child marriages. Okay, we are moving on. And when the religious ceremonies had been completed, we left, my husband and I. Okay, so this is about the religion, right? And also about the culture. There's a touch of culture. We left, my husband and I. See the belonging, right? The acceptance of culture within her. Now, this is a conventional portrayal of Indian ceremonies, but there's no enough information for us to know, right? All right. However, this paragraph is really important. The words sweeter, fuller are symbols, right? They metaphorically highlights the immaturity and the change as a theme also highlighted with the change from childhood to adulthood, the transformation, right? See how she compares her pained, awkward child experience to another night's, right? So that's about suffering, hardships, and also as a technique, you can mention the simile, right? Added to that, you can take this one single line as a question. That's why I separated it from the rest of the chapter, because This contains lots of literary devices, character development, themes, and as for the context, you can see first person narration. This is an authorial passage, and also you can see the flashback, right? So feel free to comment about what you feel about this part. Is there anything to add, or is there any question? Feel free to comment below. How well I remember the day and the sudden sickness that overcame me when the moment of departure came. So that is about remembrance, the memory, and see how helpless she is, right? So she is a child at the moment that is described in here, 12 years old child, okay? Now see how well she remember the day, and the sudden sickness is about the discomfort that she felt, right? Okay, my mother in the doorway, no tears in her eyes, but her face bloated with their weight. Right. This is about imagery. This is a superb imagery. The bloated conveys suppressed, painful emotion, showing the stoicism required in their culture. Right? Okay. My father standing a little in front of her, waiting to see us safely on our way. That is the same, right? So that stoicism is something common. I don't know. What do you think? My husband seated already on the bullock cart with the tin trunk full of cooking vessels, my saris next to him. Saris. Okay. Mhm. Somehow I found myself also sitting in the cart in finery with downcast eyes. Then the cart began to move, lurching as the bullocks got awkwardly into rhythm, and I was sick. Such a disgrace for me. How shall I ever live it down? I remember thinking, I shall never forget. I haven't forgotten, but the memory is not so. My husband soothed and calmed me. That's why I said that he is not a typical portrayal of husband. Okay, before that, her physical sickness that she mentions here is a manifestation of her physique upheaval. And then let's move to Nathan's response, right? It is a thing, right, uh, that goes beyond the mutual understanding that we can see in him. The understanding, right, because he treats well to his child bride. No dislike, no anger, right? The caring, loving, unconventional portrait of a husband, right, can be seen in him. And see, my husband soothed and calmed me. She felt that love, that satisfaction, that comfort within him. Even though the memory is not so, she can still feel that. In the same time, we can see how she was uneasy. Such a disgrace for me, worried, anxious, and distressed, upset, uh, uneasy, felt uneasy, right? All these things are also there because she's unsteady at the moment. She have to get used to the new life, right? That is a great step for a child, 12 years old. Okay, so that is what highlighted in this paragraph. It's a thing that might happen to anybody, he said. Do not fret, do not feel distress, upset. Okay, and let's talk about this non-judgmental kindness of Nathan. What do you think about that? That is why I said he is exceptional than the typical portrayal that we imagine him to be. Okay? Come, dry your eyes and sit up here beside me. So I did, and after a while I felt better. The tears left my eyes and dried on my lashes. This also about dependence of women, uh, because earlier she used to depend on father and now on husband. Okay. However, the character of Nathan is positively developed within this paragraph very clearly.